Every summer, I watch smart, hardworking business owners do the same thing. They grind through the first half of the year, hit June, and slow down. Not intentionally. They're still showing up, still answering emails, still doing the work. But mentally, they've checked out. And they don't even realize it's costing them the entire second half of the year. If you're a small business owner, an advisor running a six-figure business, and trying to scale it, in this video, I'll show you why this momentum trap hits smart, driven business owners at the exact same time every year, and why willpower alone will never fix it. What coasting through the last 2 weeks of Q2 is actually costing you, not just during the summer, but a compounding tax that drags on your entire second half of the year, and the exact move you need to make in the next 14 days to finish Q2 strong and walk into summer with momentum that carries you through the fourth quarter. If you're a small business owner who's tired of feeling like the second half of the year is always catch-up mode, stick around, because this one's going to change how you think about halftime. Let me tell you something that happened to me recently. After a long break from the gym, and I mean a long break, I decided to get back into it. I hired a trainer, committed to the process. I'm not going to lie, the first few weeks were humbling. I felt weak. I was sore in places I forgot even existed. And there were moments when I genuinely questioned whether this was a good idea. But I stuck with it, showed up every week, trusted the process, and did the work. And something started happening. I started getting stronger, not just a little stronger. At 59 years old, I was deadlifting more weight than I did at 25. Lifts that used to throw out my back for a week, I was doing them clean. I felt incredible. I felt strong in a way I hadn't felt in years. And then I moved houses. I told myself, just take a week off for the move. No big deal. Totally reasonable. Then I didn't have a gym close by. So a week turned into 2, then 3. I'd earned the break, right? I put in the work. A little rest wasn't going to hurt anything. When I finally got back to the gym, everything was hard again. The weights felt heavier. My form was off. The energy wasn't there. And it took weeks just to get back to where I was. Not to get ahead, just to get back. Here's what that experience taught me. Momentum is not a mindset. It's a mechanism. And it doesn't care about your reasons for stopping. The same thing happens in your business every single June. You've worked hard. You've put in the first half of the year. You've earned a break. So you take one without really deciding to, though. The urgency softens. The follow-ups slow down a little bit. The big decisions, they get pushed off. And then summer ends and everything feels harder than it should. Your pipeline feels thin. Your energy feels off. And you spend the first 6 weeks of Q4 just trying to get back to where you were in May. That's the summer momentum trap. And today, we're going to get you out of it once and for all. But before we get to the solution, I need to make sure you understand what's really at stake here, because most entrepreneurs underestimate this. First is the pipeline penalty. When you start to coast, your pipeline doesn't coast with you, it dries up. Next, the summer tax. Now, here's something I want to be really clear about, and this is important. Most small business owners should slow down in the summer. Family time, recharge it, take a vacation. That's not laziness, it's smart. That's how you build a sustainable business without burning out. But there's a massive difference between a planned summer slowdown and an unplanned drift. When you coast into summer, you lose momentum, you drift. And now your summer break isn't a choice, it's a consequence. You're not recharging, you're recovering. And here's the chain reaction most entrepreneurs miss. A strong Q4 doesn't start in October. It starts now. A strong Q4 requires momentum from Q3, and that momentum requires a strong finish to Q2. When you let June drift, you're not just losing the summer, you're mortgaging your entire second half of the year. That's the summer tax, and it compounds. Next, when you drift, your team drifts. If you have a team, even a small one, they're watching you. When you mentally check out, they feel it. Productivity slows, urgencies disappear, and standards slip. And by the time you're ready to re-engage in September, you're not just rebuilding your own momentum, you're rebuilding theirs too. And the cycle never breaks. Here's what should scare you the most. If you coast through this halftime, you'll coast through the next one next year because you'll tell yourself the same story. I just need a little break. I've earned it. I'll pick it back up in September. Then next December, you'll be looking back at your year, wondering why the second half never matched the first. This is the pattern. And the only way to break it is right here, right now, the last 2 weeks of June. Now, I want to say this again because I mean it. I'm not here to tell you to grind through the summer. I don't believe in that. Working yourself into the ground is not a strategy. It's a symptom. What I am saying is this. There's a difference between a business owner who chooses to slow down and one who drifts into a slowdown. One of them comes back energized, on track, and ready to close the year strong. The other, they spent the whole summer half working, half resting, and fully feeling guilty about both. What's the difference? Well, it's a plan. And when you have that plan, here's what changes. 1, you buy back your summer. When you finish Q2 strong, you actually get to enjoy your summer, not feel guilty about it, not check your email while you're on the beach. You can step back in knowing the machine is still running because you built the momentum before you left, not trying to rebuild it afterwards. That's what freedom looks like. Number 2, you start a chain reaction. A strong Q4 doesn't start in October. It starts right now. Like I said, a strong Q4 requires momentum from Q3. Q3 momentum requires a strong finish to Q2 with a defined plan for the summer months already in place. If you get this right, you get the best of both worlds. You enjoy your summer and maintain momentum going into Q4. Number 3, your pipeline works while you rest. A strong finish to Q2 means your pipeline doesn't take the summer off even when you do. The seeds you plant now germinate during the summer and bloom in September. You do the work now and it compounds. Number 4, your team stays engaged. When you show up with intention in the last 2 weeks of Q2, even at a measured pace, your team follows your lead. You don't have to give a speech. You don't have to send a motivational email. You just have to not drift. That alone keeps your culture tight and the standards intact while you take the time you've earned. And number 5, you break the pattern. Remember that cycle I mentioned? The one where every second half feels like catch-up? Well, this is where you break it. Not with a massive push, not a 90-hour week, but with a clear, intentional plan for the next 14 days that protects your business momentum and builds momentum for the summer. Okay, let's get into it. Here are the 3 things you need to do right now to escape the summer momentum trap. Number 1, see the finish line. Here's what most small business owners don't realize about unfinished work. It doesn't just sit quietly on your to-do list, waiting for you to come back to it. It follows you around. Every open project, every incomplete goal, every decision you haven't made yet, it's all running in the background of your brain, consuming mental energy you don't even know you're spending. Psychologists call it the Zeigarnik effect, the brain's documented tendency to fixate on unfinished tasks far more than completed ones. Your incomplete Q2 goals aren't just a productivity problem. They're a mental drain that will follow you into your summer. The fix isn't to finish everything. That's not realistic and it's not the point. The fix is to look at the finish line and decide, consciously and deliberately, what gets closed, what gets moved forward, and what gets released. The American Psychological Association has documented the Zeigarnik effect extensively. Unfinished tasks demand a disproportionate amount of your cognitive bandwidth compared to completed ones. In practical terms, unresolved projects cost you mental and physical energy. For a business owner already stretched thin, already operating at the edge of capacity, that's not a small thing. It's the difference between showing up sharp and showing up spent. Here's what I want you to do this week. Block 30 minutes and pull up every Q2 goal, every open project, every single one. And for each one, ask these 3 questions. 1, can I complete this before June 30th? 2, if not, what's the single next action that at least moves it forward? And 3, What decision do I need to make right now so that I don't carry this into the summer? Write it down. Pick your top 3. That is your only focus for the next 2 weeks. Number 2, be intentional about your summer. I want to be really direct with you about something. I'm not telling you to skip summer. I'm not telling you to grind through July and August while everyone else is at the beach. That's not how you scale a business sustainably, and it's not how you avoid business owner burnout either. What I am telling you is that there's a massive difference between a business owner who chooses their summer and one who drifts into it. One of them comes back in September recharged, on track, and ready to close the year strong. The other one spent the whole summer half working, half resting, and fully guilty about both. The summer isn't the problem. The lack of intention is. So here's the deal. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Your summer without a plan isn't a break. It's a wish that somehow everything holds together. Without a plan, though, it won't. But with a plan, your summer becomes an energizing break. So here's the exercise. I want you to do this before you finish watching the video. Really hit pause and come back when you're done. Open your calendar, block your summer right now, pick the weeks that you're fully stepping back and protect them like they're client appointments, because they are. They're appointments with your own life. Then pick the weeks you're fully present in the business and treat those with equal seriousness. And finally, write down 3 things. 1, how do I want to show up this summer? 2, what am I giving myself permission to step back from now? And 3, what does the business need from me to keep running while I do step back? Takes you about 20 minutes, 1 page, and that's your summer plan. And it's the difference between a summer you enjoyed and a summer you survived. Number 3, build momentum now. Isaac Newton's first law of motion says that an object in motion stays in motion, and an object at rest stays at rest. Newton was talking about physics, but he could have been talking about your business in June. Business momentum is not a mindset, it's a mechanism. It doesn't care about your intentions or your reasons for stopping. It only responds to motion. And the most important thing to understand about momentum is this. It is significantly easier to maintain than it is to rebuild. The entrepreneurs who win Q3 and Q4 aren't the ones who push the hardest in October. They're the ones who never let the ball stop rolling in June. In 1980, the United States Olympic hockey team did something nobody thought was possible. They beat the Soviet Union, the most dominant hockey team on the planet. And then they went on to win the gold medal. What most people remember is that final game, the miracle on ice, the last-minute energy, that impossible win. What most people forget is how Coach Herb Brooks built it. He didn't build his team for 1 game. He built momentum deliberately, strategically, 1 practice, 1 game at a time. Each win building belief, each performance raising the standard, every small victory compounding into something bigger than any one player could have predicted. By the time they stepped onto the ice against the Soviets, they weren't hoping they could win. They believed they could win because the momentum they built through the entire tournament had already done the work for them. The gold medal was not won that night. It was won in every small deliberate action that came before it. Your business is the same. You don't win it in Q4. You win it right now, the last 2 weeks of June, with small, consistent, deliberate actions that keep your business momentum alive and your pipeline warm. For the next 14 days, identify 1 revenue-generating action you'll take every single day. I'm not talking about a big swing or a new campaign, not a new offer or a new strategy. Just 1 conversation, 1 follow-up, 1 proposal, 1 decision that's been sitting on your desk too long. Small, consistent, deliberate. Those actions in the last 2 weeks of June compound into a pipeline that's already warm when the summer ends. You're not trying to save Q2 in 2 weeks. You're not trying to make up for lost time. You're trying to walk into summer with the ball already rolling so that Q4 feels like acceleration instead of a restart. And that's how you scale a business without burning out. That's how you break the cycle. That's how this year you make the second half finally matched the first. The summer momentum trap is real. It hits smart, hardworking small business owners every single year at the same time. It doesn't announce itself. It just quietly bleeds your pipeline, your confidence, your team, and your year before you even realize what happened. But the fix isn't complicated. 1, see the finish line. Pull up your Q2 goals today. Decide what gets closed, what gets moved forward, and what gets released. Clear the open loops that are draining you. 2, be intentional about your summer. Block your calendar now. Plan your breaks on purpose. A planned rest is recharge. An unplanned drift is a summer tax. And 3, build momentum now. 1 revenue-generating action every day for the next 14 days. Keep the ball rolling so July feels like acceleration, not a restart. Do these 3 things, and you won't just finish 2Q strong. You'll walk into your summer with a warm pipeline, your team aligned, and your Q4 already in motion. Now, knowing this is one thing. Actually executing it is another. And that's why I put together the Summer Freedom Checklist. It's a simple, practical tool that walks you through all 3 of these steps: closing out Q2 strong, designing your summer with intention, and building the business momentum you need to make Q4 the best quarter of your year. This is the exact framework I use with my private clients, and I want you to have it. The link to download the checklist is in the description below. Here's why this matters right now. Everything we talked about in this video only works if you actually implement it. The checklist makes sure nothing falls through the cracks during the busiest, most distraction-filled time of the year. It's your game plan for the next 14 days and beyond. Download it, work through it, and let me know how it goes. The link is right there in the description. It's free. Go get it now. And if you want to go deeper on building a business that performs and gets your life back, watch the $1 million plus practice framework video. I'll show you exactly how 6-figure business owners create the systems and the structure to add an additional $10,000 per month in revenue and free up 10 hours a week. Not just once, but year after year, because that's what scaling without burnout actually looks like. I'll see you in the next video.